I was born in Crystal City, Texas, at a time of segregation. You know, the railroad tracks down the middle of the town. We lived in the Mexican side in one of the three barrios. The cantinas and all the terrible places were about 2 blocks from my house. Unpaved streets, no sidewalk, etc. Because I grew up in a segregated community, Mexicans went to segregated schools. And on top of that, the school I went to, once I got to junior high, was the old Japanese detention camp.
Jose Angel's father was the Mexican doctor in Crystal City.
We only had Mexican clients who paid with a car wash, a cut in the grass, a chicken, a bushel of spinach, whatever they could. So being a doctor wasn't meant that he was very affluent. We weren't migrants is all it meant.
Tragically, at the age of 12, his father dies.
Once he died, we were in poverty.
With no other way to support themselves, Jose Angel and his mother become migrant farm workers, harvesting crops throughout the Midwest and California. And it was through this experience that Jose Angel starts questioning life in Crystal City.
And like in Racine, Wisconsin, I could go to the movies and sit anywhere I wanted to, as opposed to the segregated theater in Crystal City. So a lot of things changed through that migrant experience, and I would say it was for the better for me.
While in high school in 1963, 5 Mexican Americans were running for the city council. Intrigued, Jose Angel volunteers to help. But after a rally on his way home, he is approached by the Texas Rangers.
I spoke at a rally one night, and when I was walking home, just about a half a block from my house, the Rangers came and confronted me, and he kicked me. Well, my mother was watching all this. She came out with a shotgun and confronted Ali. Says, "You touch my boy one more time, I'm going to kill you." And I'm surprised nothing else happened, because he was not alone. And then let us go.
Believing that he could be a catalyst for change, Jose Angel graduates from Texas A&M Kingsville and then receives his master's degree in political science from St. Mary's University in San Antonio. There he became friends with Mario Compean, Willie Velasquez, Juan Patlan, and Ignacio Perez, all later to be named Los Cinco, young Chicano activists who were ready to stand up and create change in their communities.
Together, we formed MAYO, the Mexican American Youth Organization, and we decided we were going to be the catalyst for change. We were going to be the activists, the militants, the protesters. We were going to engage in direct action, and we did.
MAYO, the Mexican American Youth Organization, became an agent for change. They protested and led marches and encountered violent resistance along the way.
We had a lot of violence committed against us. We had some murders, we had some beatings, we had a lot of arrests and went to jail. I don't know, I went to jail I guess maybe a dozen times or so.
Never before had an organization taken on such fierce confrontation at all levels for social justice.
When we went down to fight for the farm workers in the valley in South Texas, we would confront the Rangers face to face and say, "Why don't you beat us? Why don't you kill us like you're doing farm workers?" But everybody watching said, "Boy, these MAYO guys are brave, they're militant, they're tough," you know, and they stand there right there face to face to these Rangers. They're not afraid, which made them not afraid.
We were all in college, but a lot of the membership were high school kids, you know, in the first year, second year, third year, because there were, all of a sudden, there were student strikes, there were boycotts, there were walkouts.
Following MAYO's lead, students and parents began protesting and organizing school walkouts. Unfortunately, compromises from the school administration were seldom kept.
The first walkouts we did, we failed miserably because we didn't understand the dynamics and the power structure. You know, we should have realized that what the books were saying, history books, about Indian treaties, how they signed treaties, but the whites never honored them. Well, they signed walkout agreements, and they never would honor them.
In 1969, Jose Angel returns home to Crystal City. Now armed with his MAYO organization, he is determined to bring change to his hometown. At Crystal City High School, Mexican students began questioning their school administration's policies, and talks of a walkout began. Severita Lara, a junior, organizes the Mexican students to discuss their grievances.
Everybody started talking about other issues. The way we were treated in the schools, And we didn't have a Mexican-American counselor. The counselor always didn't want us, they always told us that we're not going to college. You're not college material.
The ultimate goal of the school walkouts was to end the oppression that we felt in those buildings, to end the push-outs. We're not dropouts. We don't drop out of school. We're pushed out of school. And the being made inferior by the teachers, by the textbooks, by the curriculum, the food, the whole atmosphere. It was just anti-Mexican. We want to stop all that.
On December 9th, 1969, with the help of Jose Angel and MAYO, 500 high school students staged a walkout. More students joined each day until more than 2,000 students were walking the picket line.
While the kids were in walkout, not only were we teaching them what they were missing out in school, but we also were sending them out to go register voters.
Because of the voter registration effort of the students during the walkout, the community came out in force and elects a new school board. Jose Angel is appointed president.
We knew then that we had to replace the school board. If we replaced the school board, we could replace the superintendent, the principal, the teachers, the curriculum, and so on.
Jose Angel quickly moved to hire new Mexican teachers and to change the high school curriculum.
We implemented a bilingual, bicultural, biliterate program, B3, bilingual, bicultural, biliterate, from pre-K to 12. This was revolutionary, that we were going to graduate kids speaking Spanish and English.
Jose Angel's efforts would pay off as more Mexican students in the following years graduated high school and attended college, including Severita Lara.
He wanted us to have an opportunity to have a college education. And he made it very clear, all of you are going to go to college.
Change at all levels came to Crystal City.
We took over the city, and the same thing there. We replaced all the personnel with Mexicans. The police chief became Mexican, the fire chief, the tax collector, the budget officer, et cetera, city manager, and on down the line.
And Jose Angel knew that we had to change the whole political environment. It wasn't only employment. It wasn't only education. We had to change the top, who were the ones who were making policy against us.
Jose Angel's political strategy had worked, and from it materialized his idea of forming a third political party. With the MAYO leadership, he created the Raza Unida party.
We had hoped that we could create a world in which there was more opportunities. And that's what Raza Unida was about, entering into that mainstream of being able to craft a better world.
We ran 16 candidates the very first time and won 15 races.
In 1974, under the Raza Unida party, Jose Angel is elected county judge in Zavala County.
Hi, Jose Angel Gutierrez.
Hi, Jose Angel Gutierrez.
The day I was inaugurated as county judge, there was a guy that was arrested with a deer rifle, a 30-06, with a scope, aiming straight at where I was supposed to be inaugurated. It was going to shoot me, but they caught him.
Over the following years, Jose Angel is able to secure $13 million in scholarships from the government of Mexico. He called his program Becas para Aztlán.
So we graduated well over 100 some odd medical doctors and about 20, 30 PhDs.
Jose Angel is responsible for creating countless organizations that serve the community and also brought a much-needed free clinic to Crystal City, El Centro de Salud. By the late 70s, the Raza Unida party had grown in popularity and expanded to 17 states. But now, the Democratic Party was challenging their candidates' petitions to keep them off the ballots. And with little financial support, there was no remedy.
You got to realize there's no way here. Okay? You had to go back into the Democratic Party and take it from within, which is what happened. We became known as the baddies, born-again Democrats.
What the Raza Unida party accomplished in bringing Mexican Americans, men and women, to the political arena, nobody can deny. The majority of today's Mexican elected officials come from La Raza Unida roots.
The legacy of the Raza Unida party was several components. One, we trained a whole cadre of political activists in the electoral arena. Second thing was, we said it's okay to take power. It's okay to control your destiny. You Mexicanos need to have your own agenda.
Now in his later years, Jose Angel has taught at universities, written 17 books, and finds time to talk to community groups, reminding them of their past struggles and of their victories.
I wouldn't mind going back into the classroom and teaching, because I think I have a lot to say to students about how the system works. We have no course on applied politics. We don't tell people how it really works. We certainly don't tell them how they can make it work for them.
I was really involved in Raza Unida, and I found in Raza Unida the vehicle I needed to fight social justice. So that I had this coraje in me, but I found a way to channel it in a positive manner.
I think Jose Angel very much gave us license, gave young people license to be active, to take on the power structure, to be able to say things that our parents and grandparents were never able to say.
He could have chosen to be in it for himself. He could have chosen to go and achieve high office or be successful in other ways. Instead, he chose to stand with the people.
He's a brilliant strategist. He will go down in history as one of the great leaders in our history, the history of Chicanos.
He gave us that opportunity to fight. He showed us how to fight for what was ours.
Jose Angel is referred to as one of the 4 most influential people of the Chicano movement, and many would argue that he was the #1 catalyst for Chicano civil rights during the 60s and 70s.
Nothing's going to be given to you if you don't raise your voice, if you don't demand your interest, your action, your piece of the pie. So we got to take it. And for that, you got to be organized, mobilized, and go get it.
On behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff of the United States Leadership Institute, we salute you.